My wife told me that I should leave this one alone, but I said, I don't think so.
Welcome to my take. Well, it's not my take, it's Miguel Crespo's take. Whatever. For inspiration to go.
Welcome to My Take, Pastor Crespo here. My Take is your oasis of inspiration and hope in the desert of negativity and despair. I want to thank you for joining the podcast. I want to encourage you like, share, subscribe, follow. If you know anyone that you think would benefit from just a, a small carve out in your day to maybe have something to laugh about and hear something positive, and on top of that, receive Bible wisdom, you need to let them know about the My Take podcast. This is what we're here for. I want to let you know that there is an email if you want to get in touch with me or send me news articles, because this is kind of the news articles are things that I use to launch into the Bible wisdom portion of the podcast. It's mytakemc@gmail.com. Mytakemc@gmail.com. All right. Let's get into it. I have a story here. And, I started off, my wife was saying, you need to leave this one alone. And it's not bad. It's not on a bad subject. It's just that, um, well, I, 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 I think was thinking I was getting a little bit too excited for nothing. But you know what? I think it's a big deal. Why is it that people, when you got something good, they want to mess it up by trying something new with it? Sometimes, the old adage, if it's not broken, stop trying to fix it. And if I sound like I'm a bit angry, well, yeah, you know what? I'm going to say I'm righteously indignant today in this episode of the podcast. I want to start a protest. I want to start a letter writing campaign. We need to get some picket signs. And what are we going to do? We're going to go down to Pennsylvania, to Hershey, Pennsylvania, and get in front of I think it's the Mars M&M company. I believe that's what it's called. And picket. And the picket sign should say, "Leave our Reese's cups alone." What am I talking about? All right. Here's an article that came out at the beginning of this month. This would be March, beginning of this month. And the title is this: Coming Soon, Reese's Cups and Chocolate Bars Made from Plants. What? That's right. It looks like our Reese's Cups may be getting a makeover of epic, and I would say disastrous proportions. Let me read some of this to you here. The Hershey Company said on Tuesday that their Reese's plant-based peanut butter cups will go on sale this month, and it will be its first vegan chocolates sold nationally. The chocolates are made with oats instead of milk, Hershey said. All right, now look, as I said, why is it that when we have something good, people try to come up with this fake stuff? I don't know. What is my problem here? My problem is this: they're going to take something that is popular and good and try to change it, and I'm not even sure that it's a good idea business wise, because um, I don't think they know their market. Let me share some more of this with you, and we can continue with the podcast here. So, Hershey's said that consumers want choice and are looking for products that they consider healthier or with fewer ingredients, and that's what caused them to go in this direction where they're going to take their Reese's cups, and they're not going to do away with the ones they sell now. These are going to be something that they're going to sell, and maybe in the future replace it. I'm not sure, but they say that consumers want choice and are looking for healthier options. Listen, I don't know who gave what advice to the heads of the company over there in Hershey, Pennsylvania, but you need to fire that guy because you do not know your market. Uh, people who are into health, people who are into health, they do want to eat things that are healthier and have fewer ingredients. In other words, it's simpler. But vegans don't eat a whole lot of chocolate, not the serious ones. So what are you doing here? All right, let me keep going. Well, this is what they found, and and this is probably their problem. They're getting their marching orders from a trend over in Europe. All these this younger generation there, they're saying that 54% of Generation Z consumers were restricting animal-based products from their diets as opposed to 34% of baby boomers. Now, I need to be careful here. This is a good thing, but not as it relates to this thing. So let me keep going, and then I'll go on with my rant here. Hershey said that it developed plant based versions of their Reese's cups and Hershey bars because there is a dearth of mainstream plant-based chocolates in the U.S. market. In other words, there's a dearth of plant-based chocolate in the U.S. market, and that's why we decided to do it. Hello, there is a reason why there is a dearth of plant based chocolates in the United States because nobody wants them. If you go to Germany and you go into a grocery store and you buy a bar of chocolate, that bar of chocolate is going to be more than likely made of dark chocolate. That bar of chocolate is going to taste, compared to an American bar of chocolate, and you have to have the two to compare. The American bar of chocolate is a lot sweeter because they use milk chocolate, but it has a lot more sugar. In Europe, their regular chocolate, the stuff that they eat off the shelf. When we go and buy a Nestle Crunch bar, whatever their version is, they're naturally healthier because they're using dark chocolate in a lot of instances. When you go to restaurants, when you eat over in Europe, many restaurants, the food is a lot more bland than it is in the United States because of the things that we use. And for better or for worse, we are a sugar rich diet country. And so this is the problem. This is a big mistake. And I am ranting because goodness gracious, leave my Hershey bars and my Reese's cups alone. Crying out loud. But I'm gonna keep going here. So here's this article. Let me back up. Um, I know a lot of vegans. I know a lot of vegans. Um, and I want to tell you about a conversation that I've never ever had with a vegan. Hey, my vegan oatmeal loving friend, how are you doing today? Hmm, I'm okay. What's wrong? Hmm, well, come on, tell me what's wrong, man. What's going on? Well, I just, I, I was watching one of my friends eating a Reese's cup, a- and when they bit into it, they look so happy. And, and I just, what? I just wish that Hershey's would make a plant based version of their Reese's cups so I could be as happy. Okay, that is a conversation I have never ever had with anyone that's been interested in being healthy. And of course, I'm being tongue in cheek here. But here's the thing that gets me, the thing that drives me even crazier. They're looking to change this over into a plant-based chocolate. If if I can't even use that plant-based candy, whatever. But then they add this. The the plant-based versions will cost more. All right? They're going to cost more money. As a matter of fact, that same Reese cup that you may buy with the milk chocolate and the sweetened peanut butter, I guess if you want to call it that, you're going to pay $1 more than the real thing for this vegan chocolate. $1 more. Oh, and not only that, don't expect that you're going to be cutting calories either, because actually the Reese's cup made from plant-based, things is actually going to have slightly more calories than the regular Reese's cup. So here's the deal. Reese's is going to make a product that very few people want. They're going to actually charge more for it. It's going to have more calories in it. And by the way, listen, if you're going to take milk and some of these things out of there, I have to believe that you're going to have more sugar in it than the regular ones. I don't see how you can get by with this. So I'm giving an educated childish rant here, I know, but Reese's is about to take the Reese's cup, make them plant-based, make them cost more, make them have more calories, and have more sugar. Oh, but you have the benefit of having something and feeling good that you're not taking in an animal-based product like milk. Sound like a good deal? All right. So I know this is a rant and guys, you are about to lose a lot of money because of this decision. We are not Europe. I'm giving you some free advice. I'm not even a consultant for Hershey's, but maybe you should pay me for this advice. You need to step away from that. It really, if you want to impact the vegan market, you need to take fruit. You need to cover it with carob. And carob, if you don't know what that is, that's like a substitute for chocolate. I believe it's made out of a bean. But some people who are very health conscious, they substitute chocolate with carob, and they say I've eaten it. It's not bad. All right. So this is my rant. I know, and I sound like a crazy person, and you might be saying, "Well, Crespo, what is wrong with you? Why are you making such a big deal about it?" One is I like my Reese's cups. I don't eat a lot of them, um, but I like my Reese's cups, and I don't want people messing with my Reese's cups. Okay, that's why. Now let's get serious. Let's go to the Bible wisdom portion of this because I think it's important. Now, I do need to tell you that what I just did right now was more tongue in cheek than anything else. I'm having fun. I know that I have friends, and if you're listening to this, that you might be a vegan and you might be offended, guys. Relax, okay? I'm joking. Relax. Have a cookie. It's gonna be okay. Why did I share this story? Well, let me share a couple things because it is really important for you to know that in the Bible, health is a big deal. Yes, I know what I just said earlier. I used it to kind of get into the this portion, but in the Bible, health is a very big deal. Did you know that when you read the Bible, you find out that God is just as interested in your physical health as he is in your spiritual health? That's right. You see, people who are in good health tend to be able to have a more enjoyable life. They tend to have a better quality of life. And believe it or not, God is interested in your quality of life. You see, when you have Jesus in your life, it brings a quality into your life like nothing else. But when Jesus comes in, there's a whole bunch of other things. The Bible talks about the importance of having rest. The Bible talks of the importance about having a good diet. It talks about the importance of sunlight. We should be able to drink water because that's really what our bodies are built for. To use water to kind of keep everything lubricated. All these things are in the Bible. And why? Because God wants you to be in good health. You can be more useful in sharing the truth with others, and you can have a better quality of life. So I did want to talk about that a little bit. Maybe I can get more serious about that and at another time. But let me say this. I want to talk about another point, and this is where I want to really park on in terms of my inspiration moment. Um, because the truth is, if you are people who are very interested in having good health, they're not interested in candy. So I'm going to leave that there. But here's what really got to me in the story. What got to me in the story is this. Why is it that people want to you bring in fake things to replace the true, thinking that the fake thing will satisfy? I don't know if I put that the right way. The substitute will never satisfy as much as the real thing. Okay? The alternative will never be will never leave you as full or complete as the original. And that's a truth that I can apply to this story, but I can tell you that's a truth that just can apply to the spiritual life. Where's the Bible? The Bible does not talk about Reese's cups. The Bible does not talk about plant-based chocolate. It does not talk about that. But the Bible talks a lot about people who would rather choose a substitute and forsake the real thing. And that is all over scripture. There's a story that comes to mind. Paul was in Athens. This is the Apostle Paul. And the Bible records that he went to Athens and he was preaching the gospel, sharing the message with people. And in Athens, at the Areopagus, was a place. The Areopagus was a place where all of these intellectuals would come together, and they would love to debate theories and ideas, and they'd talk religion and everything else under the sun, and all in an effort just to share information and knowledge. It's like their ears, I'm sorry, were itching for new things to think about. Paul was invited to go there. And Paul noticed something. He said that they were all worshiping all sorts of different gods, and they had actually statues there, worshiping all these things. They had idols there. But Paul noticed one, and he noticed that this inscription did not have the name of a god on it. It just said to the unknown God. In other words, if there was a God that they did not know about, they didn't want to leave that God out, so they put up an idol to that unknown God as well. When Paul went up to preach, he basically was saying this. He says, guys, look, I appreciate your religiosity. And I noticed all these different idols to all these different gods. The one idol that you put to the unknown God, that's the real God. And let me tell you about him. And so Paul begins to preach to them. But the thing was this is that he noticed, and he, in his way of speaking, Paul was a very good, in my opinion, he was a very good speaker. He was very good at communicating deep ideas. And he's saying to them, you guys are worshiping substitutes. And the real thing, I'm about to share with you the real thing. And he preaches this great, great message to them. And you should go to Acts chapter 17, verses 22 to 28, if you are a Bible reader. By the way, if you need a Bible, email me, mytakemc@gmail.com, and I will send you one. But he makes just a great case for why would you settle for something that's fake or substitute when God, the creator God, the God of the Bible, the God of Israel, that he is the real God. And so I just, what are we doing in our lives today? How much are we satisfied with? Are we searching for the real thing? Or are we satisfied with substitutes? Today there are substitutes. If God is the real thing, and he is, what are substitutes that take God's place in our lives today? It could be a relationship, it could be a job, it could be a vice. Maybe you're hooked on drugs or something else. Look, we do this in a search for fulfillment, right? But I'm here to tell you that the Bible makes a case that God is the real thing, and everything else is a substitute. Let me share with you a couple of verses. This comes from Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 6 and on. I'm jumping into the text. Sometimes it's difficult to get the flavor of it, but I'm hoping you will, because this goes to this notion of the real and the fake. This is how Jeremiah 10, verse 6 starts. It says, there is none like you, O Lord. You are great. Your name is great in might. Who would not fear you, O King of the nations? For this is your due. For among all the wise of the nations and in all their kingdoms, there is none like you. Compare all these kings, there's none like the real king. For my version here says, they are both stupid and foolish. The instruction of idols is but wood. Beaten silver is brought from Tarshish and gold from Euphaz. This is what they fashioned idols out of. They made them out of silver and gold and wood. And it's connecting idols to the real God. It says they are the work of the craftsman and of the hands of the goldsmith. Their clothing is violet and purple. They are all the work of skilled men. In other words, the gods that they worshiped, they created. They were worshiping gods that they created. But he says, but the Lord is the true God. He is the living God and the everlasting King. At his wrath, the earth quakes, and the nations cannot endure his indignation. See, the difference here in this text is saying this, is that there are people that are content to worship idols. They are a substitute. These are creations out of men's hands. But the Lord is the true God. He is the King of heaven and earth. He is the creator and, by the way, the redeemer, which is a big word, where the rescuer. He's the creator and the rescuer of all. What have you chosen in your life? Have you chosen the real thing? Or are you satisfied with a vegan, forgive me, with a vegan substitute? I want the real thing. And I encourage you to want the real thing as well. That's my take, and that's inspiration to go. And no offense to the vegans out there.